Good morning. I'm Nancy from Black Sheep Knitting in Needham, Massachusetts. We're a local yarn shop. We have an online shop and we have in-store shopping as well. I show lots of things that I'm working on and things that are going on in the shop, and I show you some of my favorite things. My favorite thing today is I'm trying to show some Ravelry patterns that I found that I think would be fun to knit, and I believe I showed this one last week, the Elin bandana scarf, and I just wanted to show you my progress. I hand dyed, I've been hand dyeing a lot of yarn lately, and I dyed this sort of tonal caramel color, which I really love, in a sport weight. And this is how far I am. The stripes get larger as you go, and then I'm about to start decreases, and this yarn is the spongiest yarn. It's just amazing, and it's soft and just lovely to knit with. That will be in my trunk show during the yarn crawl, so you'll be able to buy kits for this at that time. So that's a fun one. It's quick. It's such a simple knit, very easy, and you can tie it in different ways. The other thing is, we have in the shop a yarn called Snowflake, and this is a hat pattern that you can get on Ravelry for the yarn, and it's incredibly simple pattern, and it makes you look like you're a genius because of the pattern of the color, but in fact the pattern is in the yarn, and it takes one skein. And these are some of the colorways. This is a green, this is kind of a taupey and white color. We have a light blue. We have a sort of dusty pink, a rose. We have a gray and white, and a gray and black and white. So this is a great project if you're looking for Christmas gifts. I hate to say that word already, but I have a friend who's going to do them, and she's starting now for people. And another idea, if you're doing, and I don't have the pattern with me, but this is the Sophie scarf by Petite Knits, and it's a one skein scarf. We made it out of Road to China light that is just a scrumptious, gorgeous yarn, and it's just one of these things you can tie around your neck, and it just gives, I think it's just a very sort of chic look, and it hides those wrinkles that you've got going on here if you're my age, and just gives you this nice cozy feel around your neck. So that's called the Sophie scarf. And one last thing that I found today that I just love, called Switchback Shawl, and it's a one main color and then several colors. It's a fingering weight, so all those little bits of fingering weight that you have left over from shawls, or we'll have kits here in the shop with mini skeins, so it's a great project for mini skeins. I thought it looked so cute with the I thought it looked really cute with all the different colors of variegated yarns and then the solid. So those are my tips for Ravelry picks this week. Those of you who do use Ravelry a lot, it is like going down a rabbit hole. And sometimes if I have a half an hour to kill, or I'm waiting for something, or I'm waiting for that 5 o'clock cocktail, excuse me, whatever, it's, you can spend a good half an hour or 3 hours looking at stuff on Ravelry, and there are just so many choices. I would say a bit of a warning to people when you are looking at Ravelry. Be sure that you look to see other people have done the pattern, and look at the so if there's a little button you can push that says projects, and look at what people have done, and then look at what they have said. If you don't press the comments button, that won't get you there. You need the projects, and then you go to each person's individual project. And they'll tell you how much yarn they've used, They'll tell you if there's a mistake in the pattern. They'll tell you if they made adjustments. So it's a real, and if nobody has made it yet, I don't advise doing it unless you're an expert knitter. But if you're not, which most of us are not, it's really a good idea to do something that has already been done. Some people send, the big designers send their patterns to tech editors, and they'll catch any problems. But if just I design a pattern and write it out and throw it up on Ravelry, nobody has checked to see if it works or if I made mistakes. So that's a little caveat. I wanted to update you on my Alpenglow and talk the Alpenglow, which is the, I didn't get a regular picture of it, which I should do. In my my handy notebook, again, that I showed you last week, that has my patterns, and I had somebody today in one of my classes who had all these crumpled up pieces of paper and couldn't find, you know, page 1, page 2. This notebook makes a huge difference. So here's the Alpenglow, or better known now as the Rhinebeck sweater. And I wanted to show you, I had begun this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm doing sueño for the top color, and this incredibly soft Mandrake, Suri alpaca and silk for this portion. And then I have a yarn that I dyed, which I may be sorry I used because it's got little white flecks in it. However, I'm going to keep going. And any of you who saw, I think I did an Instagram post, or maybe I mentioned it here, I got going with another yarn that had like a dark blue in it, and it just did not go. So I ripped it back, and I'm now doing the color work with this yarn, which I like a whole lot better. And I do recommend getting something that relates to your other colors. Otherwise, I think I don't know, it didn't work for me. And this is subtle in here, which is, it's fine with me. So you start on this pattern, you're going to start at the neck, but you don't start with the ribbing. That happens later on. You go back and pick up stitches, and she has done a fold over neck that gets folded over and knit on the inside, or stitched on the inside, which gives you that sort of heavier look to your, I think I've untied myself, to your neck. I'm not going to do that. It's not a preferred neckline. You see it a lot on the fisherman knit sweaters. They do that, and I'm not sure why, whether it's for warmth or strength or whatever, but I don't think it's necessary on this particular pattern. You then will knit down to the yoke right in here, and your sleeves will go on, they say stitch holders. Don't use regular stitch holders. They just don't work for something that's round. The best thing is to get one of the, what we have in the shop, the barber cords, or use another piece of yarn and tie a knot in it. Make sure though when you do it, you make it loose enough so that you're able to try the sweater on. And I say that because as you work down on the yoke and through the arm here, the measurement from your shoulder to the underarm is an important measurement. And I happen to find this, oddly enough, in the Elan bandana scarf. She, at the end, added all kinds of really good information, but she showed this, hopefully you can see it. It's the measurement from the top of your shoulder to the underarm. So what you should do when you get almost to that point where you think you should break for the sleeves, put the sleeves on holders, you should try it on and see what this measurement should be, because not everybody has the same distance from the top of your shoulder to your underarm, and you might want it a little lower, a little, you know, depending on your body shape. So you don't want to use her measurements, Her measurements are a guide, but you really want to try it on. So in order to try this on, you need to you can do a couple of things. You can put the stitches on 2 long circular needles, the bottom stitches. You can put half of them on a barber cord, or all of them on a barber cord, and then try it on. But you really should not go any further, and I have some barber cords to show you. They're these neat things that some very clever woman figured out. They're these, and they give you, I think there are 3 or 4 of them in here. I cut 2 of them the length I need for a sleeve, and what you do is put your needle, and I think I've shown this before, but you push it into the hole and really make sure it's gone pretty far in there, and then you can slide all your stitches onto this needle. And I have done one so that I always have one for my sleeves that are of sleeve length, and that allows you to try it on, and even later to try it on when you get to the bottom. Now this sweater I've seen finished in a couple of different ways. Some people, and if you followed her measurements, you can see that it's quite short. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to show that much of myself. So I'd rather have it a little bit longer, and I want to make sure that it's fitting me correctly across the bust. So you can keep trying it on, and you can see how long it should be. You can also try it on later when you're doing the sleeves, which is a really good idea, to see how long they should be. Because remember, we don't all have the length arm that Andrea Mowry has. So those things are really, really important for you. Trying to think if there's anything else that would help you along in this. Remember that those of you who are local, on Fridays we're doing a knit along, so people come from 3 to 5 in the shop. You have to wear a mask, and we work on it together. So we do a lot of talking about the colors, about the, all kinds of things, measurements. So it's great. You don't have to sign up, doesn't cost anything, you can just come. We also have kits, so you can look at our online shop for kits. I'm not going to show you all of them today, but they're on our online store, and so you can purchase one if you haven't started. You don't have to have it finished for Rhinebeck, and not everybody's going to Rhinebeck, but this is one of my favorites. So it has all the yarn you would need up to a size 52, 52-inch bust, which I think is a size 6 if you were looking at the pattern. I did want to mention one quick thing about masks. I had someone leave the store rather unhappy the other day because of our mask mandate, and she said, well, you don't have to wear masks. The issue with that is we don't know who's immunocompromised, and I have a couple friends going through chemotherapy, and they've been told by their doctors if they got COVID, they would have to stop treatment for 20 days. And for some people, that is pretty disastrous. So we don't want, and I know somebody who's having to get, just to stay alive, is getting chemo every other week. So we want to be aware, and I heard someone on the news say this morning, he doesn't wear a mask all the time, but he said, if I go into a convenience store, a hardware store, and I see the person behind the counter is wearing a mask, I have to assume that that person is doing it for a reason. So I get out my mask and I put it on. And I know some people think I'm being ridiculous, but knock wood, I haven't gotten COVID yet, and I don't want to. I have lung issues, and if I got COVID, and plus after my accident, I can't be coughing with these healing ribs. So please understand that we're not trying to be mean to anybody, but we're trying to protect everyone, and it's important that we do that. A lot of our customers are older and are more susceptible and will not do as well as a young person who gets COVID. And there are, and I'm sorry, this is sounding like a speech, but I'm really afraid of getting it because I don't think I would do very well. So please understand when we ask you to wear a mask. And we ask you, could you put it on before you walk in the door? Don't walk in and then put it on. We really, really don't want to spread COVID in here. We don't want anyone to get it from having visited our shop. That said, speech over. I probably won't say it again. Anyway, I did want to remind you of the yarn crawl that's coming up September 29th. It's 4 days of shopping. There are 15 stores. I'm having a trunk show. Fiola's having a trunk show here. We may have some special things going, other special things going on. So make a plan, get a friend, plan out where you want to go. I think if you go to the Greater Boston Yarn Crawl website, you can see, we'll have passports in here soon, so you can see the map and you can plan where to go. It's a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll have great weather, maybe on the crisper side that'll make people want to buy yarn. Anyway, I hope you have a great week of knitting, and please forgive my little COVID speech, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.